It's cool. I'm not triggered or anything.
A huge thank you to this video's lovely sponsor, HBO Max. As you all know, I love watching and discussing TV shows and films. It's literally all I do on here. You guys are always asking me for new show recommendations and for what I'm currently watching, so I've partnered with HBO Max. I literally can't believe I just said that, a dream come true. And I have compiled a list of my absolute favorite watches that are perfect for the fall time. I usually focus a lot on throwbacks and nostalgic shows, so I'm super excited to share with y'all some of my current favorites. We're currently transitioning out of the summertime and into autumn, and with that comes the need for great new shows. Some of these shows you'll know, some you won't know. Either way, this is your sign to click the link in the description to sign up and binge all of these shows and more on HBO Max. A lot of these shows are nominated at this year's Emmys, so you know that they're good. Without further ado, the perfect fall watch list according to me, Basic Girl.
Listen, you're not like actually in trouble or something, are you?
No, I'm hungover in Thailand.
So first up we have The Flight Attendant. I think The Flight Attendant is such a gem. I found out about the show on a whim when scrolling through HBO Max. I went into it completely blind, and y'all, I was not ready. The show is such a roller coaster in the best way possible. So the premise is that we follow this girl, Cassie, played by Kaylee Cuoco, who is, you guessed it, a flight attendant. Cassie sees this cute guy on the plane. They end up having a one-night stand while they're in Thailand, and she wakes up the next morning extremely hungover. Then our girl looks over to check on the guy from the past night, expecting him to be up. Nope, man's is dead. Throat cut, blood everywhere. So basically, throughout the show, we watch her try to piece together the events of the past night to figure out what happened. I absolutely love this show because at first you think it's just like a cut and dry murder mystery, but there's so many layers to the show. It touches on such important topics like childhood trauma and more. Obviously, make sure to check the trigger warnings for the show and all the other shows I'll be mentioning, but I highly recommend it because it's a very good quality show. If you're not big into murder mysteries, this is a good one to start with because it's a dramedy, meaning that it's a great mix of both drama and comedy, and this show is nominated for 9 Emmys this year, which is insane considering they only have one season out, and I can't wait to see what they win because this show deserves it.
How the fuck did I spend my entire life building this around what I think men desire?
Are you surprised to see Euphoria on this list? Because you really shouldn't be. Everyone and their moms has seen the show, but in case you've somehow escaped the Euphoria craze, consider me your personal recruiter. Most of the shows on this list are adult dramas, so I had to slip in a little teen drama in here. It's my expertise. Euphoria came out in the summer of 2019. I really resonated with the fall time. Euphoria is iconic and influential for so many reasons. The makeup, the fashion, but what stands out to me the most is the rawness of the characters and the unique storyline. Euphoria has a way of making you invested in every single character, whether you love them or hate them. Looking at you, Nate, that's something that not every show can pull off. Like, it's a gift that Euphoria has. It's for this reason that 2 of my favorite Euphoria episodes are actually the special episodes that came out recently. If you haven't seen the special episodes, they were released in December and one in January. And it's kind of this really unique way of bridging the gap between the season 1 cliffhanger and what's to come in season 2. The first special episode focused on Rue, who's played by the lovely Zendaya, and the second one is focused on Jules, who's played by the lovely Hunter Schafer. I especially love Jules this episode because it felt like as an audience you got to see like the inside of her mind and understand her thought processes and her reasoning, which I really enjoyed. Everything from the acting to the cinematography itself in these episodes was so amazing, so it's no surprise that both of these special episodes are up for Emmys this year. This is just a bonus show that's also on HBO Max. If you love Euphoria, I recommend checking out the show Generation. It's another teen drama that follows a cast of kids who all go to the same school. Very unique, very raw, very real. If you like Euphoria, definitely check out Generation on HBO Max.
free-spirited, all-loving, that sometimes I just want to
Punch her in the face?
You're gonna love this girl.
Big Little Lies is another fan favorite among those who love thrillers like me. I love this show. It's so much fun. Big Little Lies is an oldie but a goodie. You just can't go wrong with it. Like, it's tried and true. Just looking at the cast is enough to get you interested. We have Shailene Woodley, Laura Dern, Nicole Kidman, frickin' Meryl Streep, Miss Reese Witherspoon, and so many more talented actors. Like, it is insane how jam-packed the show is. I personally made the decision a long time ago to watch anything Reese Witherspoon is in, and I have yet to be disappointed. One of my favorite genres of television is messy, wealthy white people, and this show just gives me everything I need and more. The show follows the lives of a group of mothers who live in this wealthy small beach town in California. There's murder, there's drama, the acting's great, it's truly everything. I think the less you know about the show getting into it, the better, so get to watching.
I'm clutching at straws here. Psychopaths? He's not a psychopath.
I first watched The Undoing in 2020, and when I tell you I was obsessed, I was obsessed. I think I finished the show in 2 days, which is very rare for me, but I cannot stop watching. It stars Nicole Kidman, who was also in Big Little Lies, and when I tell you the acting is phenomenal, it's just so good. The show is just so amazing that I've extended my Reese Witherspoon rule to Nicole Kidman as well, and will now be watching literally everything she's in, no questions asked. So the show itself is a murder mystery slash like psychological thriller. It follows this psychologist Grace, who's played by Nicole, and her husband Jonathan, who's a doctor, and they have this cute kid named Henry. They're rich, they're cool, they're a family of absolute girl bosses. Everything is going great until the mother, one of the kids at their son Henry's school, ends up murdered. And when I say murdered, I mean brutally murdered, y'all. Like, it is, you have to watch, y'all. But yeah, so that's all I'm gonna tell you because I don't want to spoil anything. But trust me, it is so addictive. You'll always be on your toes. The actor who plays Jonathan, Hugh Grant, was nominated for Outstanding Male Lead at this year's Emmys, which is so deserved. And I personally think that my girl Nicole was snubbed a nomination for Outstanding Lead Actress for her role in the show, but that's a conversation for a different time. One of my absolute favorites. I love this show.
Keep us steady! We're being shot at! How the hell am I supposed to keep us steady?
Lovecraft Country is a show I only recently finished, and all I have to say is that this show is insane in the best way possible. If you're into horror dramas, this is right up your alley, and it's absolutely perfect for the fall. I am unashamed to admit that I am an absolute baby when it comes to horror, so this show was really out of my comfort zone, but I'm so happy that I watched it because it is such a gem. I went into the show completely blind. The premise of the show is that it's about this guy named Atticus, who's played by the amazing Jonathan Majors, and his journey through Jim Crow America to find his missing father. And throughout the show, he discovers a lot about his family history, and that is all I'll say. You just have to go into that and buckle up. I had no idea what I was getting into, and I had no idea that the show was a horror drama when I first started watching, so I was definitely very surprised when things started arising and things started happening, but it was so enthralling, I couldn't stop watching. The only time I really dabble with horror is when it falls under that niche little caveat of horrors that primarily feature Black people, so that's the reason I stuck with the show when I found out that it was a horror, and I am so glad I did. The show got 18 nominations. 18 nominations at this year's Emmys, and I hope they sweep. That is how much I adore this show.
Send me back to prison because I don't like you.
I will not sign a paper that I do not believe. I will not tell a court that you are well when you are not.
In Treatment is another one of my newer finds, and I truly appreciate this show so much. The show is a drama, but in a very unique way. While many of the other shows on this list are very fast-moving, fast-paced, I like the show because it manages to be chill, but it still keeps you very interested, and it's very relatable. And Treatment has actually been around for a while, but I'm specifically talking about season 4. Like the show title hints at, the show follows a psychologist. In season 4, it's Brooke, who is played by Zola Duva, And the show structure is really unique in the way that each episode focuses on a session of Brooke with one of her patients. And it's super interesting because it's almost like sitting in on and eavesdropping on someone else's therapy sessions. That's literally the whole concept of the show. It's so fascinating. Brooke has a total of 3 patients, and they each get a total of 6 sessions, so that's like 18 episodes. But then we also get solo episodes with Brooke that talks about like Brooke's life. I absolutely love the concept of the show. I think the actors in the show are really great, and there's definitely some familiar faces in the show, like Anthony Ramos. He absolutely kills it. He's so good in the show. Lead Uzo, she's nominated for Outstanding Lead Actress at this year's Emmys for her role for Brooke, and I am so excited for her. I personally love this show. I have like an own personal connection to the show because I studied psych in undergrad. That's probably why I find this show so interesting. But I think that even if you're not into psych or like mental health, anyone could enjoy this show. I never hear anyone talking about this show, so definitely check the show out. So that concludes my perfect fall TV watch list. Make sure you guys click the link in the description to start streaming all of these amazing shows and so many more Emmy nominated shows on HBO Max. Thank you again to HBO Max for sponsoring this video. It's literally been a dream working with you guys. Also, thank you to my subscribers for supporting me and getting me to where I am today. And okay, that's enough sap. Now go stream.